Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Tassos Kalimos. Happy to joining you guys for another edition of NBA Player Prop Parlay here on the Guy Boston Sports YouTube channel. Happy Thursday, everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying your day so far. Apologies, I know this video is coming a little bit later in the day than normal, but I want to get this video out to you guys. Day 2 of our Christmas challenge is here. If you missed yesterday's video, starting yesterday and going through Christmas Day, we are doing a little Christmas challenge where we are big game hunting. That's right, we are doing parlays of plus 500 or higher every day from yesterday all the way through Christmas Day with the hopes of winning you guys some of your holiday shopping money back. Today we got a 5-leg parlay. We did not hit yesterday's parlay. We were off the mark by a little bit, but that's okay. Sometimes when you're big game hunting, you're not going to get the kill every single time. So we may have lost yesterday, but we understand we don't need to hit many of these to be successful, just 1 or 2, and we're having a good week. All right, guys, so 5-leg parlay, as I said, and as usual, I use DraftKings as my sportsbook of choice. Guys, if you would like to take some of these props, like an all-you-can-eat buffet, pick and choose what you'd like. If you don't like the whole parlay, I will not be offended. But if you are going to ride, make sure to comment ride in the comment section below. So without further ado, let's get after it. For the first leg of this parlay, we're looking at the Thunder Clippers game. Give me Josh Giddey over 19.5 points, rebounds, plus assists, and I still a player combo to kick off the parlay here for this Thursday parlay. Got a little tongue twisted there, but all right, guys. Starting today, normally if you watch my videos, I usually edit the graphics in, but starting today, I'm going to take a page out of Ev's book, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. I'm using Outlier, of course. Outlier is the sponsor of the show. Link in the description below. You get a 7-day free trial when you use our special link. So yeah, we're going to share the screen with you guys so you guys can see all the data that I have. You guys can see for yourself what I'm looking at. And I think once you see more and more how me and Ev use it, he's been doing player prop videos also. You guys are going to want to buy into it. So again, link in the description below. 7-day free trial. So over here, first leg, we got the Josh Giddey over 19.5 points, rebounds plus assists. We're going to go ahead and look at the 2023 season. And if you look at it on the year, he's hitting this in 14 out of 25 games. That is a 56% hit rate on the season. Pretty good. And you look at Josh Giddey, he kind of goes in these peaks and valleys, right? Where, he'll go up and have 3 or 4 games in a row where he'll get these overs, and then he kind of goes down for a couple games. Right now, it looks like we're kind of in that peak territory, and I feel like he could have a couple more games before maybe he goes into another valley. That's just what we're seeing based off the analytics. But he is hitting this at a 56% hit rate this year. And when you go a little closer, last 10 games, he's hit it in 6 of his last 10 games. Giddey's had a lot of off-the-court stuff going on. He had a really rough start to the year on the court, and then all the off-the-court stuff happened. I think he's finally starting to focus in. I think he's really starting to work on his game. He's really recovered after a rough start to the year, and he's playing a lot better of late. And guys, when you look at the head-to-head stats, it's pretty good, right? You see his last 4 games dating back to November of 2021. He has hit this over of 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists against the Los Angeles Clippers. So he's consistently hitting this mark against the Clippers. That's a very good sign for us. And when you look over at the defensive stats versus the shooting guard position, the Clippers are giving up the 3rd most points in the NBA to the shooting guard position. They're currently giving up 29.4 points per game to the shooting guard position. They're about middle of the road in rebounds and assists, but it is a good sign. It's a good defensive matchup. He's done it consistently against the Clippers, and he's hitting it consistently on the season. So a pretty good first leg for our parlay. All right, guys, so moving right along here, second leg of the parlay. We're going to stick to this game, actually. We're going to stay right in this Clippers-Thunders game. We're going to go to Kawhi Leonard over 2.5 assists. All right, guys, so going back over to Outlier now. When you look at Kawhi Leonard for his assist numbers, you see a lot of green. A lot of green here, okay? He has hit this in 21 out of 27 games this season. That is a 78% hit rate on the year for Kawhi Leonard. So looking pretty good. And if you go down a little closer, you want to narrow it in a little bit. In his last 10 games, he's hit it in 7 of his last 10. That's a 70% hit rate. So he's hitting it consistently over his last 10 games. In the 2023 season, again, you look back at that number, it is a 78% hit rate on the season. Pretty damn good. And if we go over to the head-to-head numbers, which I always like to look at, they're very important in my opinion when it comes to picking props. You're going to see that he's hit this in each of his last 2 matchups versus the Oklahoma City Thunder, dating back to last season. You see here on March 23rd of last year, he had 6 assists, and on March 21st, he had 5 assists. So you see, he puts up pretty good numbers, and overall, The Oklahoma City Thunder are bottom 10 in the league in assists allowed per game. They're currently averaging just shy of 27 assists per game to opposing teams. So a pretty good matchup here for Kawhi Leonard in the second leg of our parlay. All right, guys, so we are cruising right along here. Let's get into the third leg of our parlay. We have the Magic Bucks game. Give me Paolo Banchero over 3.5 assists. All right, guys, so again, moving back into outlier here, you look at the charts. Again, kind of similar to the Kawhi chart, a lot of green. Paolo Banchero has hit this number in 19 out of 26 games this season. That is a 73% hit rate. And if you want to dive in a little deeper here, you look at his last 10 games. Again, very similar to Kawhi Leonard in 7 of his last 10 games. He's hit this yesterday against the Miami Heat. He had 8 assists. Really good game for him against Miami. So looking pretty good. And when you look over at the head-to-head, again, pretty solid numbers. In 3 of his last 4 matchups versus the Milwaukee Bucks, he has hit this over of 3.5 assists. The only time that he didn't was March 7th of last year. He had 3 assists in an 11-point loss to Orlando. But in the one matchup they played this year, back on November 11th, he hit 5 assists. So he hit this number in the one time they played this year, and a 75% hit rate against Orlando overall. And if you look over here to the defensive numbers, you'll see the Milwaukee Bucks are currently giving up 5 assists per game. That is bottom 5 in the league to the small forward position. So a pretty good spot here for Paolo Banchero. The Bucks give up a lot of assists to the small forward position. He's consistently hit this against Milwaukee, and he's consistently hit this overall on the season. So a pretty good spot here for Paolo Banchero for the third leg of our parlay. All right, guys, we are cruising right along here in this 5-leg parlay. For the fourth leg of our 5-leg parlay, we are looking at the Timberwolves-Lakers game. Give me Karl-Anthony Towns over 19.5 points. Now, guys, when you look at the chart here, Karl-Anthony Towns has hit this in 17 out of 26 games this season. That is a 65% hit rate for Karl-Anthony Towns. So he's hitting this, again, consistent. Now, in the last, you're going to look here in his last 10 games, you're going to see a couple of misses here and there, right? He still hit this in 60% of his last 10 games, 6 out of 10. But you do see a couple of misses here and there. But you look at overall in the season, and yeah, I mean, he overall has been hitting this number very, very consistently. And what I like a lot in this is, again, head-to-head is very important. This is what really excites me about this pick. In each of his last 6 matchups versus the Lakers dating back to November 2021, he has hit this number, and he hits it pretty high, right? The closest he got to it was right here in October 20th, 2022. He had 21 points, but the rest of these games, he's 23, you see 24, 30, 28, 29. So you see he consistently hits this number versus the Lakers. Now, I know he is technically considered a center, but because of the way they play Rudy Gobert and the way the team is currently constructed, he is technically a power forward. So when you go over here and you look at the Lakers' defense and points allowed versus the power forward position, they give up the 6th most points in the league to the power forward position. So 26.2 points per game they're giving up to the power forward position. And overall, they're middle of the road, 113, about 114 points per game. It's 15th in the league. So they're not a great defensive team, not a bad one, but against power forwards in particular, they are giving up a lot of points. And again, because of the way the Timberwolves play, he is technically a power forward, even though he's listed as a center. So I really like the spot here for Karl-Anthony Towns. And so, guys, one leg left, the final leg of our 5-leg parlay. We are targeting Wizards Blazers. Give me Anthony Simons over 29.5 points plus assists. Now, Anthony Simons has not played much this season. He's missed a lot of games this year, battling injuries. But when you do look at his numbers for the season, he's only played 8 games this year, but he has hit this number in 6 out of 8 games. It's a 75% hit rate on the season. So you look back here on the chart, October 25th was his first game he played. He missed the number. He then doesn't play again until December 6th. So, since coming back on December 6th, you look at this, 6 of his last 7 games since returning, he has hit this number. The one time he failed was against Utah on December 14th. He had 9 points and 6 assists. So he is hitting this number consistently since coming back, and it's not too surprising. I mean, the Blazers are not a very good team. I think he's very clearly the best player on this bad Blazers, this rebuilding Blazers team. So it's not too surprising. When you look at the head-to-head numbers, in 2 of his last 3 games versus the Wizards, he has hit this over. You look here in January of 2022, and in February of 2023, hit the over. The last time they played on Valentine's Day of last year, he failed to hit the over. However, it should be noted this is a very different Wizards team. And when you look over here at the defensive numbers, yeah, this team is not very good defensively. They are currently giving up the most points and most assists in the NBA. And if you scroll down a little farther here, you look at the team rankings, come over here to defense, and woof, yeah, not very good. And we'll go over here. We'll just move the Blazers to offense just to take a look here. And the Blazers, you see offensively, they're not very good, but they have been without Simons for most of the season. But you'll see here, defensively, they give up a lot of points. Teams are shooting very well on them. They are bottom of the barrel in a lot of the key defensive categories. They give up a lot of rebounds. They give up a lot of assists. So very good matchup here for Anthony Simons. He's been hitting it consistently since coming back from injury, and I think he'll hit it again here versus Washington. So a pretty solid fifth and final leg of this parlay. And guys, when you parlay all of these picks together, you get a parlay of plus 669 odds. Not half bad. 5-leg parlay. I know it's a lot of odds. It might be a lot of legs. Might be a lot scarier for people, but plus 669. And I showed you all the trends. I showed you all the data. I like the spots here. Again, you can pick and choose if you'd like. But that is it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Shout out to Outlier again for sponsoring today's video. And until next time, I hope we're all winners. We'll see you tomorrow with day 3 of the Christmas challenge. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.